For the Uniform Civil Code, TSR Subramaniam, former Cabinet Secretary against the Uniform Civil Code, John Dayal, Secretary General of the All India Christian Council, as well as Amee, Yajnik of the Congress Party. For the Uniform Civil Code, Subramaniam Swamy, senior leader of the BJP, who says, do what you can, we are going to bring it through. Against the Uniform Civil Code is Ejaz Maqbool, councillor of the, his lawyer for the All India Muslim Personal Law Board, and Gaurav Bhatia of the Samajwadi Party. Syed, Inayatullah of the All India Milli Council will be joining us in some time. Amee, Yajnik, I am surprised that you have called Jawaharlal Nehru communal. I am surprised that you have called the Indian Constitution communal. I can understand, Amee, Yajnik, that you want to whip up some fears of the right wing. But when you talk and when Manish Tiwari says this is going to lead in a billion mutinies, this is communal, surely you are disrespecting more than anyone else Jawaharlal Nehru, who had taken a very firm stand in favor of the common code, but said I need some time to prepare ground for it. 65 years later, the government says we will prepare the ground for a uniform civil code. Why are you doing this to Jawaharlal Nehru?
Arnab, let us talk in the context of Nehruji. When he talked about this, they were the founding fathers of the Constitution, and let us not forget Article 44, which says the state shall endeavor to have a uniform civil code for the territory of India. Now at that time, even the Hindu personal laws required reforms, and the RSS and Jansangh at that time, now metamorphosized as the BJP, opposed Hindu reforms. And so now you bring that context right now.
Factually wrong.
We are talking about the BJP.
Factually wrong. I get in Subramaniam Swamy at this stage. No, 1 minute. We must understand. We must understand what a uniform civil code is, Amee Yajnik. Miss Amee Yajnik, Miss Amee Yajnik, I want you to show me a single statement tonight. I want you to show me a single statement. Okay, produce the statement, and I will close the debate. Okay, this is the agreement. I want you to show me a single statement of a senior BJP leader who says we are going to push for a Hindu code. Show me a single statement of a senior BJP leader or government functionary who says, no, I repeat myself.
I did not say that.
Who says?
I did not say that.
Who says we want a Hindu code?
They opposed at that time even the reforms in the personal laws of the Hindus.
The present.
And now they want to come out. They want to come out with a uniform civil code and just bring the priority which they had in their manifesto on the last page as a priority on the first page.
Which is a priority of Jawaharlal Nehru.
You have to also look at.
Which is Nehru's priority.
Look at Article 25. You have to look at 371A, which gives the Nagaland a special status for respecting their customs and traditions, 371G for Mizoram, and suddenly you come up with this uniform civil code. There has to be some kind of a balance, and so you just change your priority because you come to
Amee
power.
Yajnik,
That is the issue.
No, 1 second. You please be clear of what you are saying, Miss Amee Yajnik. Because I can see here that you are in this mood. You are in this mood to whip fears about a right-wing agenda, and you want to decry all the attempts to draft a common code. But it's very sad today that not only do you insult Jawaharlal Nehru on a live TV program, but you also insult Baba Saheb Ambedkar, the chairman of the drafting committee of the Indian Constitution, who had talked about the need for a uniform civil code. Subramaniam Swamy joining in on the debate. Subramaniam Swamy, your turn. Subramaniam Swamy, are you trying to Hinduize the Indian laws? Subramaniam Swamy, let's have the other side. Let's have the. I can quote Baba Saheb Ambedkar. You can't. Baba Saheb Ambedkar said.
Article 44. They were the founding fathers of the Constitution.
You know what? Anyway, it's not between you and me. I can quote Baba Saheb Ambedkar for you. Subramaniam Swamy.
Well, first of all, you see, let us understand that these Congress people who speak on behalf of or defending the right of the Muslims to have their own laws, we have uniform criminal code in our country. We don't have the Sharia to decide on the punishment for crimes. So we have a secular criminal law called the IPC. Similarly, Muslim communities in Australia, United States and many other countries have accepted uniform civil code in those countries and have not claimed that it harms their religion or their religious adherence. All we are saying is that when the country has a population of 50% men and 50% women, it's natural that the marriage laws should be such that a man should not be allowed to marry more than one. And there's nothing retrograde or Hindu about it. Number two, I would like to say that when it comes to inheritance, you cannot say that women deserve less inheritance than men, which is there in the present laws of the civil laws of the Muslims. So therefore, what we want is modernization of our laws, and for that we need a uniform civil code as a policy, because it is there already in the Constitution.
Well, you know, I think tonight it would also serve Gaurav Bhatia. You disregard all this. Forget your politics for a while, Gaurav Bhatia. John Dayal, forget any permanent position that you have taken. I hope you will respect the Supreme Court of the country, John Dayal. The Supreme Court of the country in the Shahabano judgment said, and I quote, it said a common civil code will help the cause of national integration by removing disparate loyalties to law which have conflicting ideologies. I ask you, John Dayal, why are you against the integration of the nation under one common code? Why are you against integrating the 1.2 billion people of this country under one code? Leave any personal prejudices aside.
You know what? I think it is important to integrate the people of India on all counts. Equality of opportunity, equality before justice. Those are essentials. Many years ago, when Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister, we asked him two very simple questions. And the questions were, please tell us, what do you want in this common civil code? What are your plans for it? What is your project? Give us the details and we'll respond to you. We may agree on every point. We may disagree on every point. That was the first argument. The second argument was, why can't you have a code that is inclusive of the civil and the personal laws of all communities,
yes,
which
precisely.
considers the variety even in Hinduism?
No, where is it written there will be a Hindu code? Please tell me. Please tell me, Mr. Dayal, TSR Subramaniam, is there any argument here? This is who said it will be a Hindu code? This whole claim is that it will interfere with the personal laws of a religious community, which will unleash a million mutinies. No, please understand this, sir. Please, sir, Mr. Dayal, it's not a Hindu code.
My dear friend.
Yes.
Arnab, my dear friend, the state shall endeavor. The government shall endeavor. The word is endeavor.
For how many years? 100 years?
Continue.
100 years.
Tell us what you want to include in
endeavor,
it.
Endeavor till when? Till eternity?
If it needs 100, this is
till the next millennium.
This is a civilization of 5,000 years.
So we
100
wait.
years
Okay.
is nothing. It's a flash in the pan.
Mr. John Dayal, you are delaying the inevitable. And to say let's wait for thousands of years to have one civil code in this country is, I'm sorry to say,
denying,
a fairly unacceptable line of argument. TSR Subramaniam, your counter, please. TSR Subramaniam is countering you, Mr. Dayal. Gaurav Bhatia has not come into the debate, which clearly indicates tonight that he too is understanding the seriousness of the argument. However, okay, one second. I'm sure you can concede your point, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia. You can concede your point right here on the debate. TSR Subramaniam.
Arnab, I think for 65 years now, we have used the word secular to divide our society and inhibit total integration. It has been used carelessly for political purposes, for various other purposes, not for integration. We should not now allow this important word of common code to be divisive. It should not be a political issue. It should not be a communal or caste issue. It should be a reform issue. It should be an issue in favor of gender, to remove all gender biases and to bring modernity into the system. We cannot have a system where I change my religion and the laws change
Dayal.
for me. We cannot just do that. It will be absurd to have that. I do not know of any country which has different laws for different people. Yes, in US there are certain different laws in different states. But this, our constitution, which stood the test of time, does not distinguish people in respect of religion or caste or community, nor of laws. The laws should be uniform.
And who calls it communal?
The initial period was only it was only a 10-year transition period.
No, who calls it communal? Gaurav Bhatia, is the United States of America run by a communal law? Are the Jews in the United States saying we want a separate set of civil laws? Are American Muslims, who form more than 1% of the American population, governed by a separate set of civil laws? In fact, it is a country of 300 million people of various religious denominations. Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, politicians like you will have to think of the long-term consequences of the damage that you are doing to our society. 48% of Americans are Protestants. Do they have a separate law? 22% are Catholics. Do they have a separate law? 2% are Mormons. There are 6 million Jews in addition to people of other faiths. Do they have other laws? Give me a logical argument tonight. Mr. Bhatia, don't present a political argument.
Thank you.
Look beyond vote banks.
Thank you for passing your judgment to say that politicians like me are doing damage to the country. I would just overlook it, thinking that it's your ignorance.
Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, does the United Kingdom have different sets of laws? Does Australia have different sets of laws? Does New Zealand have different sets of laws?
Please don't.
Where do you want to take this country?
Please don't compare. Please don't compare the demography and the situation in India with that of the US.
No, fine. You want to compare with the Dominican Republic?
Since you were quoting Supreme Court of India, now hear me, Arnab. You were quoting Supreme Court of India.
Yes, I was.
I'm also quoting from the judgment of Supreme Court of India. And the Supreme Court said
sure, let's quote.
1996, uniform law enactment in one go may be counterproductive. Gradual progressive change.
Subramanian Swamy, I can quote para, chapter and verse.
To all people in one go would not serve the purpose.
Sir,
all I am trying
No, don't quote selectively. Don't quote selectively.
I am not
You are quoting selectively.
You want me to read the entire judgment?
No, sir.
I will read the entire judgment.
So
it's another thing I'll consume all the time of your program.
No, my question to you is, you are a lawyer, let me ask you a question. No, you are a lawyer, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia. And then perhaps... Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, let me ask you a question. And then maybe John Dayal and Amee Yajnik will also change their position on this matter. Can you tell me as a lawyer, what did the Supreme Court say? And John Dayal, this will be of interest to you. Supreme Court says on July 23rd, 2003, when it says that Section 118 of the Indian Succession Act 1925, which prevents Christians from bequeathing property for religious and charitable purposes, was violative of Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. It said, did it not, that we would like to state that Article 44 provides that the state shall endeavour to secure for the citizens a uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. I am quoting something that is relevant to the Christian community, Mr. John Dayal. Do you have a counter to that?
Now,
this is what the Supreme Court said.
Reply to that, Arnab?
No, I don't have a counter. I have an addition.
Do you have a counter to that?
I have an addition to that.
As of today, the Supreme Court has left it to the Parliament to look into it.
Okay.
The Supreme Court has also said that since it's a matter of directed principle of policy, it is not justiciable.
No.
Therefore, we will not interfere with it.
No, that's again you are wrong.
Please.
Again you are wrong. Let's get Ejaz Maqbool. Mr. Ejaz Maqbool.
I'm giving you a judgment, okay?
No, I'll give you a judgment. Mr. Ejaz Maqbool. Let's get judgment after judgment tonight on the news. I say, Mr. Ejaz Maqbool, is it true or not that on February 20th, 2014? No.
I'm saying Lily Thomas versus Union of India.
Sir, okay.
2000 year. You read that. Okay, if you want to read, you read 1997 3 SCC 573. Okay.
Why can't I quote something more recent? Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, 1 second. Let's get Ejaz Maqbool in. On the 20th of February 2014, the Supreme Court rules, Ejaz Maqbool, that any person can adopt a child under the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act, irrespective of the religion he or she follows, even if the personal laws of the particular religion do not permit it. The Muslim Personal Law Board, you will have to accept tonight, had argued in favor of upholding Muslim personal law in the case. Is it true or not that the Supreme Court said this? Tell me, Mr. Maqbool, you are the lawyer for the Muslim Personal Law Board. Yes, sir, Mr. Maqbool.
Let me come in.
Yeah, Mr. Maqbool, go ahead.
The first thing is that who are the people who are asking for uniform civil code?
No.
The people, the right-wing organizations of our country are asking for uniform civil code.
Sir, don't go right-wing, left-wing, left of center, under, over.
Allow me to make a point.
Showing papers would not help. I can also show
I am quoting the Supreme Court. You have no respect for what the Supreme Court says. You don't respect what the Supreme Court says. Yes, Mr. Maqbool.
Allow me to make a point. When you are talking about uniform civil code, it cannot be imported from US, Australia or other countries of the world. It has to
Sir,
be
was
from
Jawaharlal Nehru talking of importing it? Subramaniam Swamy. It's an open debate. Anyone can come in. Anyone can come in.
Under the Muslim law, if one wants to get married, he has to give dowry to his wife. Now, will you bring this in your uniform civil code that every
you will bring what is acceptable. You will not bring what is not acceptable. Subramaniam Swamy counter to that. Subramaniam Swamy and TSR Subramaniam can counter that. Please go ahead.
Absolutely, it is a United Nations Charter principle.
A country which has unity in diversity cannot be brought. See, the uniform, we already have secular laws as far as the criminal law is concerned. We are also governed.
Sir, I think you are, Mr. Maqbool, you are showing great disrespect to the Supreme Court of India.
There is a Special Marriage Act since...
Sir, you are showing great disrespect to the Supreme Court of India.
1954, how many of our Indians have got married under that act?
Sir, is it true or not? No, one second. Is it true or not? Mr. Maqbool. Mr. Maqbool, is it true or not? Mr. Maqbool, listen to me. Is it true or not? Is it true or not that the Supreme Court termed the Juvenile Justice Act as a small step towards the formation of a uniform civil code?
Never like to get married.
Sir, 1 minute.
No. There is already, as far as marriage law is concerned, there is already a secular law in place. Why do you want to abolish?
No, you see what has happened is that Gaurav Bhatia started quoting the Supreme Court, and now when I am quoting recent Supreme Court judgments, he has no answer. Subramaniam Swamy, your counter please to Ejaz Maqbool. Syed, Inayatullah, welcome to the debate. Subramaniam Swamy, TSR Subramaniam. Subramaniam Swamy's turn.
All right, let us...
Subramaniam Swamy's turn, please. Mr. Maqbool, let him speak. He's countering you. Let's have the counters.
No, Arnab,
let's have the counters, Mr. Maqbool. We have limited time. Let's hear the counters.
Okay, Arnab.
Let's hear the counters from Swamy and Subramaniam, then I'll come back to you. Yes.
I never used the term communist.
I go by the principles which are clearly... I go by the principles which are clearly secular by all, by everybody. One is the United Nations Charter and the code they have laid down for human rights. One of the principles is that there should be complete gender equality in terms of rights. We find that there are religions in our country which treat women differently from men. We cannot allow that. It was there in the Hindu, in some of the codes, but then in 1954 we changed that. So I am not saying that Muslims should marry on registered marriage. I am saying you marry with your mullah, but you cannot marry more than one. You cannot deny your daughter your inheritance. These are all secular principles. Where is religion in this?
The practitioners...
John Dayal.
Arnab.
John Dayal.
I can speak, I will. Is there a religion in India which is fair to its women? Every religion, including mine,
so what argument
unfair.
Is that?
Our laws
so what kind of argument
are talking about practice?
Affirmative towards men.
Sir,
Let the communities reform
how
their
can you
laws.
say that?
I'm just countering Mr.
No,
Swamy.
Mr. Dayal.
Arnab,
It is not only one religion.
No, Mr. Dayal, I ask you tonight, you say, is there any law, is there any
Yes.
religion in India which is fair or unfair to the women? I am not talking of a religion-based law. I am talking of a uniform code. Let me ask Syed Inayatullah if he can hear me joining me on the debate right now. Syed Inayatullah, 1 second. Syed Inayatullah, my question to you is it or not, is it true or not, Syed Inayatullah, that the Kerala government, Sir, John Dayal, 1 minute. John Dayal, listen to this argument. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. This case is very interesting. The Kerala government, Mr. Syed Inayatullah, of which the Indian Union Muslim League is a part, had issued a circular in favor of solemnizing underage marriages in Kerala. This is a violation of the Child Marriage Prohibition Act of 2006, which prescribes a marriageable age of 18 for women and 21 for men. The circulation was withdrawn, but what was happening was an attempt being made for a community's personal laws to override an act banning child marriage. Now you have a uniform civil code, these kind of issues will not take place. You agree with what I'm saying, Mr. Inayatullah? You're a reasonable man. I'm sure you see the reason in this argument. In this country, some people have tried to push through even child marriage in this way. We can't allow this.
Which is very
Mr.
common.
Arnab.
Which is very common in
Yes, Mr.
Pakistan.
Inayatullah.
Mr. Arnab, the question of child marriage is not now. It is not existing now as it is. It was there long back.
So it's a relevant question.
And now people have understood. People have understood and it is not required. Now we are sending all our girls to the schools, colleges and everything. Professionals, they are coming out. We are not thinking about this child marriage and all. Now you are talking about this common civil code in India. First of all, you make all Indian in one religion. Can you make it? Is it possible? You have multilingual.
Sir, are people in America under one religion? People in UK, one religion? People in New Zealand, one religion?
Yes, well, you bring one religion.
Is there one religion in America?
One religion. See,
is there one religion in America?
We have one religion in America.
Is there one religion in America?
American government is the only Christians, yes.
Really?
Yes,
then you are ignorant, Mr. Inayatullah, because there are 6 million Jews in America. TSR Subramaniam, please. That's no argument. TSR Subramaniam countering you. TSR Subramaniam, please. A few minutes on the debate. TSR Subramaniam. TSR Subramaniam is responding to Mr. Inayatullah.
Arnab, the point was made. I go back to the Indian Constitution. Somebody made a reference to the directive principles of state policy. That it is whatever is there is not justiciable. Since the common civil code is in the directive principles, education is there. Public health is there. Are we condemning this? Don't we want this? Don't we want rules, regulations to have this? What is the meaning of right to education? What's the meaning of right to health? Why not have a common code, number one?
The government, Arnab,
number two,
wants to include.
Please don't interrupt, sir. Please don't interrupt. You have spoken enough. Please don't interrupt. Please don't interrupt. You have spoken enough. Please don't interrupt, sir. Also, Arnab, in this country, we need common, no other country in the world which distinguishes their own people. We have to integrate. Yes, it should not be Hindu law, it should not be Muslim law or Christian law, but there should be a certain common denominator, which therefore should be, and particularly it should be more woman friendly, not necessarily Hindu or Muslim, more woman friendly. We need a social revolution to upgrade the status of women. We have to think positively and ensure in this direction. Please do not convert it into a religious issue. Don't convert it into a vote issue or a party issue. As a country we need.
Mr. Inayatullah, you wanted to respond to Mr. Subramaniam, or should I move on to our next panelist? Yes, Mr. Inayatullah is responding to you. Mr. Subramaniam, hear him now. He heard you. He heard you. Let Mr. Inayatullah respond. Mr. Inayatullah comes in late to the debate. I let him respond. Yes, Mr. Inayatullah.
Yes. Yeah.
No, go ahead. You wanted to respond to Mr. Subramaniam, I think, when he was speaking here. Otherwise, I'll move in here and I have my next question on why the Congress is insulting Baba Saheb Ambedkar. Yes.
No, Mr. Subramaniam is mistaken. He thinks that only the majority Hindu can rule this India and all the political, all the social, everything can be reformed. No, it is not possible. It is multilinguistic, multi-religious, multi-subsection, so many multicultural. And now, first of all, we have to bring all in one roof. First of all, you try to bring it. If at all you are so serious to bring the uniform civil code, You you constitute a body of Muslim scholars, non-Muslim scholars. Let them study the Quran, our Shariat law thoroughly, and give a report to the government saying that which is the better one, which is not a better one. Then we
Sir,
can
this
accept
is
the
not
civil
about
code.
a Shariat law, a Hindu law, a Muslim law, a Parsi law. Subramaniam Swamy.
No, it's not a Muslim law.
Subramaniam Swamy.
No,
Subramaniam Swamy is countering you once again. It's not about. No, but Miss Amee Yajnik, one sec. Subramaniam Swamy wanted to respond to Mr. Inayatullah, or should I move on to Gaurav, Bhatia and Amee Yajnik? Miss Amee Yajnik, I thought you ran out of argument.
I would ask only one thing, that how can anyone defend a man marrying more than one, having more than one wife? How can he have 4 wives and it be legitimized? How can he be entitled to marry a girl who has not even reached puberty?
No, you are mistaken.
He can marry a minor. This is the kind of thing. You agree one man shall marry only one woman.
See, how many of the Muslims have married more than one wife? But I can show how many of the non-Muslims have married more than one wife. You are political leaders. You are government bureaucrats.
Mr. Inayatullah, you don't.
They are married, not married.
Mr. Inayatullah, simple question Subramaniam Swamy puts to you. Mr. Inayatullah, please be reasonable. Mr. Inayatullah, please be reasonable. In our country, the simple question is putting to you, how can one man marry more than one wife, and that to someone who is a minor? You cannot have a law which directly, indirectly allows that. You cannot have it. You cannot have it, Mr. Inayatullah.
Sorry to say. No,
you can't have it, Mr. Inayatullah.
He is a well-learned man, but he has no idea about this marrying 4 wives. It is not a must. It is not a rule. If you want to have, you can.
But it is allowed.
But it is allowed.
Equally, it is allowed. But it is allowed. When? Whom? Have a marriage? Have anybody is married? Have Khalidas married? No, it is not so.
It is allowed under the
It is allowed. It is allowed only
the
necessity comes.
Codes.
Mr. Inayatullah.
It is allowed, only necessity comes. Can you show the population of the Muslims, how many of them married 4 wives?
Is it right?
4 wives.
No, is it right? Mr. Inayatullah, my question to you is it right for a man to marry up to 4 wives? In today's society,
yes,
is it right or wrong? I'm asking you, is it right or wrong?
No.
Is it right or wrong?
If that is the case,
is it right or wrong? No, Mr. Inayatullah, things can be either right or they can be wrong. My question to you is it right for a man to marry up to 4 wives? Is it right or wrong?
Yes, it is right.
It is right.
It is right.
You think it is right for a man to marry 4 wives?
You tell me how it is wrong. You tell me how it is wrong. I will explain to you how it is right.
Well, I'm shocked that you're saying this, because this is exactly, you are actually buttressing the argument of people who are saying in a country you can't allow this. There are more than 1 million Muslims in 1% of the population in America. That's more than 3 or 4 million Muslims are there in America. They don't have the right to marry more than 1 wife.
Right.
Does that make them bad Muslims?
The American culture.
Does that make them bad Muslims? This is not American culture. My question now is to Amee Yajnik. Amee Yajnik, please listen to me. Miss Amee Yajnik, listen to me. No, Miss Amee Yajnik.
Islamic culture we know.
Miss Amee Yajnik, my question to you is...
Arnab.
No, 1 second. Miss Amee Yajnik, I must quote Baba Saheb Ambedkar to you. I don't want you to counter me. Trust me. I just want you to counter Baba Saheb Ambedkar. Okay? I want the Congress spokesperson to counter the logic of Baba Saheb Ambedkar on the Newshour tonight, Amee Yajnik. Please don't deflect this question. Here is a great opportunity for you to make your case against the Uniform Civil Code. All you have to do is contradict and take on Baba Saheb Ambedkar. Baba Saheb Ambedkar said the following. Amee Yajnik, pay attention. He said, quote, I personally do not understand why religion should be given this vast, expansive jurisdiction so as to cover the whole of life and to prevent the legislature from encroaching on that field. After all, said Baba Saheb Ambedkar, what are we having this liberty for? We are having this liberty in order to reform our social system, which is full of inequities, discriminations and other things which conflict with our fundamental rights. This is what Baba Saheb Ambedkar said. Ms. Amee Yajnik, be true to your own position. Right now, contradict Baba Saheb Ambedkar. I give you 1 minute. Your time starts now. Let the whole world see you contradicting Baba Saheb Ambedkar. Don't deflect.
There is no contradiction here, because Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was one of the framers of the Constitution.
Counter him.
And Article 25, which says freedom of conscience and free profession, practice and propagation of religion, which was put there by the framers of the Constitution to see that a pluralistic, social, religious society across sections has so many personal laws. Let it get time to have a code. And so your question sets answered, and then Article 44, that the state shall endeavor to secure a uniform civil code, and the apex court has said that it is desirable for the state to have a uniform civil code, but you cannot have it thrust upon the society of India. You cannot have it in one go. You have to have it by gradual step
Amee
by step.
Yajnik,
So
Amee Yajnik. No, 1 minute, Amee Yajnik. Amee Yajnik, if that is your position. No, if that is your position, then if that is your, first of all, you've not been able to counter Babasaheb Ambedkar, that's understandable. If that is your position, I'd like to remind you. No, if that is your position,
you are reading it wrongly.
No, I'm quoting Babasaheb Ambedkar.
Please read it correctly.
I want to just remind both Gaurav Bhatia and Amee Yajnik. Now I'm coming to Gaurav Bhatia. The Shahbano case, Gaurav Bhatia, was a milestone in the Muslim woman's search for justice and the beginning of the political battle over personal law. I want to remind you about what the Supreme Court said in the Shahbano judgment, when it said that a common civil code will help the cause of national integration. In your case, it's not the question of preparing a ground by introducing more obstacles that would create the ground for a common civil code. Amee Yajnik says today, let there be baby steps taken towards a common civil code. The greatest step was the Shahbano judgment. What did the Congress party do? It went against the grain of Nehru's argument and almost permanently put the uniform civil code on the back burner. Right or wrong?
No. Yes,
right or wrong?
May I add one point here?
Yes, after the Shahbano case, the parliament
just
intervened.
a short point.
Okay?
I'm talking of the Shahbano case.
Now, I've already answered. I told.
No, you've not. You're deflecting the question on the Shahbano case.
The personal law
I'm not deflecting.
The judgment cannot override.
Read
personal laws.
I am just telling you what happened. Okay, now your screen showed that I termed uniform civil code as communal. I never said that it is communal in nature, and if I say so, then the framers of the Constitution, I think, also would fall in the same line. What I said
Mr.
was
Bhatia,
that please understand that
Mr.
Arnab,
Bhatia,
please allow me to make my point. Don't interrupt, Arnab. Please, I request
Mr.
you.
Bhatia,
Don't
quick counter.
Listen to me.
Quick counter to you.
Yes,
you know,
listen
Mr.
to me.
Bhatia. No, 1 minute, Mr. Bhatia, the Shahbano case. The Shahbano case. No, since we are talking of reforming the system and we say let's keep reforming till we reach a uniform civil code. The Shahbano case, just I'll take 30 seconds. The Shahbano case gave a Muslim woman. No, 1 second. The Shahbano case gave a Muslim woman the right to maintenance for the period of iddat, that is 3 months after the divorce, and shifted the onus of maintaining her to her relatives or the Waqf board. Right? Now my question is very simply this. This was one of the big steps towards a uniform civil code. In a pre-election year, the Congress government panicked under the pressure of the orthodoxy. Would you say today that that was a mistake that the Congress government did? Would you say so tonight?
Would you say so tonight? The collective wisdom of the parliament is to be questioned on Newshour?
Sir, I am talking of the... Sir, I think you are not able to answer the question.
I am answering if you pay attention to what I am saying. The parliament intervened to interfere in the Shahbano case after the judgment was delivered. So are you questioning the collective wisdom of the parliament?
Sir, I am asking you whether over... 1 second. I am asking... Subramaniam Swamy, that's not the question. I am asking you whether overturning a Supreme Court judgment in the Shahbano case was a good thing or a bad thing. Whether it destroyed the grain of Nehru's argument. Subramaniam Swamy, 2 minutes on the debate. Subramaniam Swamy.
Let me answer.
Subramaniam Swamy.
Parliament can make mistakes. Parliament can make mistakes as it did in the emergency. They passed a resolution supporting the emergency. Later on, they had to regret it. So here too, the parliament can make a mistake, and it has made a mistake. Now, second thing, let me say, the Congress spokesman has not read the Constitution, quoted Article 25. Article 25
Yajnik.
starts with the phrase, subject to morality, subject to public order, subject to public health.
Yes,
the
of
practice
course.
of religion will be carried.
Arnab,
So therefore, don't say it's an absolute right.
You need to read
Mr.
Article
Swamy, let
25
Amee
and
Yajnik respond.
26. Mr. Swamy, you are stuck on the point of polygamy. The personal laws affect maintenance, adoption, marriage laws, inheritance,
Immoral.
property rights, and
Polygamy,
everything.
bigamy
You are
is
stuck up on
immoral.
polygamy. You read the constitution as a whole,
Yes, it
and
is
all the
immoral.
articles that are in the
It is
fundamental
immoral.
rights and the
I have one
direct
question to
Harsh.
Dr. Subramaniam Swamy. Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, 1 minute.
Arnab, please.
No. One thing which Dr. Subramaniam Swamy should explain.
communities.
No, 1 second. Dr. Subramaniam Swamy also must explain something. They have 282 seats and the Shiv Sena also is in favor of a uniform civil code. You campaigned for a uniform civil code for so long. Why don't you bite the bullet, walk the talk instead of talking of wider consultations that will be required? You're only using this as a political slogan. That there has been a climb down Subramaniam Swamy is undeniable. When Atal Bihari Vajpayee spoke in Parliament about the Uniform Civil Code in 1961, his argument dealt primarily on the context of religion.
Civil code. Can you explain it to us?
I am telling
now,
you
on
that
the
the
Arnab Goswami
BJP
show,
and
can you
its
explain
allies
to
will
us
walk the
what you mean by a
talk
common civil
definitely
code?
within a short period of time. Not only on this, but on all the other things that have been included in the constitution, in the manifesto.
Subramaniam Swamy, John Dayal, we're going to take this debate forward later. I'm short of time tonight, but if the BJP thinks that all it needs to do is keep Yogi Aditya Nath happy by responding saying we are having a conversation on this subject, let us remind them just keeping the RSS and the right-wing lobbies happy is not the job of governance. Subramaniam Swamy, please keep that in mind. Thank you for joining me on debate number 2 on the Newshour tonight.